dream, the road kept going after the map ended. Just gravel turning into black water. You were walking ahead, but every time I called your name, the sound bent wrong came back as someone else's voice asking, why are you still missing?
Okay. Thank you, Higgy. Higgy's Mall. So this is the weirdest story. Okay. Now, obviously, Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, that story takes the cake, right? But this story with Lee Gilley, this is a very strange case, y'all. And this is the dude who is accused of murdering his pregnant wife. He was free for about a week, and then they arrested him and charged him with her murder because she didn't, even though there was an overdose, she clearly had signs of having been strangled, right? He ends up getting $1 million bail, which he can easily afford. His company is valued well over $3 million. At this point, I think it's $4 million. So it was weird that this judge gave such a low, it's not a low bail, I know, but for a guy who is worth like $5 million, right? His company and then all of his personal property, that was a very low amount. Okay. So he easily, within like 48 hours, he was out free walking the streets. Okay. So he's been out on bail. He hired the most famous and accomplished defense attorney in Texas. It may be one of the most famous in the country. The man's had books written about him, you know. He's had very high profile cases defending criminals, murderers that he won. So, you know, this man's got money. He's got resources. And there is some reporting about him that is inaccurate. They're saying that he didn't have money and he needed a, you know, private, a public defender. That's not true, guys. One of these days when I get some free time, I'll load up and go downtown and record his neighborhood, so you get an idea of what kind of neighborhood we're talking about. Not only is his house valued at over $1 million, it's surrounded for blocks by multi-million-dollar homes. So very accomplished. His company, a software company, very, very successful, doing well. His wife had a PhD in physical therapy. She was a socialite in the greater Houston social scene. And they were an up and coming family. They were very successful and financially, professionally, each was doing very, very well. Right now, he did begin to unravel. He started doing strange things a year or two before the murder happened, but you could tell there was something odd that was happening in his life. We don't really know what that was, and I'm not going to speculate, but something. He started behaving in a way that was not characteristic for him. So then somehow this guy who pulls off $1 million bail with no trouble whatsoever, he is able to cut off his ankle monitor, and the Houston Police Department didn't care. When I say they didn't care, good morning, Salty Sweet Tea. Hey, Team Deuce Do. When I say they didn't care, I mean they went to his house one time, rang the doorbell, no one answered, and I guess they said, "Oh, well, he's not home. He must be out at Kroger buying groceries." And this was on a Friday afternoon. Nobody else approached the house. Nobody tried to find Lee. The Houston PD just said, "Oh, no problem if he cut off his ankle monitoring system." Wild, right? Where does Lee pop up? 24, well, about 36 hours later, he pops up in Italy from Houston. And he's given up his passport to the Houston judge. And immediately the Italian immigration, they say, "Oh, no. You're not coming in our country. What is this? This is not a real Belgium passport. So what are you doing with it? Who are you?" And for a short while, he in fact did lie to people. No, my name is Pippi Le Pew. He did lie to immigration. He did try to hide from them. Now, eventually, they said, "Look, dude, you're trying to enter our country illegally. We don't know who you are. You are not coming into our country." And so they took him into custody and sent him to a jail. Once he got to the jail, then he says, "Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, never mind. All the other things I've said today, don't you worry. I just was having jet lag. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just having a severe case of jet lag, and I totally forgot why I was here in Italy. Let me now tell you why I'm in Italy. I am in Italy because I am being persecuted." That's right. The United States of America wants to kill me. They want me dead. And I'm here to seek asylum from the more rational, advanced, intelligent country of Italy. That I know I'm kind of making light of it, but it is factually accurate what I've just told you. Wild story, right? Crazy story. Okay. Do you want some more craziness? Like, you didn't think that was the end of the craziness, that the dude flees just a couple of days before his trial for murder is supposed to start, and he pops up 36 hours later in Italy. You want to add to the story? Here we go. We'll add to the story, okay? Because we have yet again another wild layer has just entered the picture in the story of accused murderer Lee Mongerson Gilley. This is, and please keep in mind when I tell you this, please keep in mind we're talking about one of the most elite neighborhoods in Houston, Texas. This is where everyone wants to go live. The Heights. All right. So here we go. This is the whole. Okay, this is their little their house. You can see just a little bit of it, but you can see that it's like a old farmhouse, and they renovated and updated it and modernized it rather than tearing down and putting up, a new contemporary home. They took one of the original homes and brought it back to its original grandeur. And I have a great deal of respect to Krista Gilley for doing that, for being that kind of person. I think we should be trying to save our old houses, not destroy them. Now then, this house is owned by Lee and Krista Bauer Gilley. Okay. You can check public records. It's still showing that it belongs to Lee Gilley. All right. However, the dad of Krista, he shows up at the house just to sort of go and check on things, kind of like Trisha did with Beth B's house. He goes down into the Heights and he says, "Let me just go look and make sure that everything is okay around the house." Lee doesn't have any family in Houston. He's from South Carolina, and right now he's in jail in Italy waiting for extradition to go through. But Krista's father goes down to check on things, and when he arrives, what does he find? All the shades have been pulled down, and there is a no trespassing sign in the window of his daughter's house. Now, he and his wife, with the two little girls, they're the only ones that have access to this house. And he walks up and he goes, wait a minute. Why is there a no trespassing sign in the window of this house that essentially is going to end up belonging to the two children, correct? Like you would think that is probably what Lee Gilley will do. He'll just make sure that his estate goes to the kids if he is found guilty and goes to prison. So first he knocked on the door and nobody answered. So he calls the police, the great police that didn't try to find out why Lee cut off his ankle monitor and where he was. That same police. But anyway, he calls the police. He says, "We are having a bit of a mystery over here. I wonder if you guys could come to the house of Lee Gilley. There's a problem. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look right. Things look really strange." So the cops show up over there. They go up, bang on the door. And now there's a person inside the house who is answering. And they're saying, "No, I'm not coming out. You need to get away from my house. You need to get off my porch. I own this house." Yeah. So Houston Chronicle, MSNBC, it looks like People magazine may have picked up on the story, but it looks like they're representing this as a squatter situation. Now, please, guys, please remember, this is the same Houston police that saw that Gilley cut off his ankle monitor and they did nothing. They didn't even come back for a second visit. They could have gotten a warrant and knocked the door in to arrest him for breaking the terms of bond, but they did nothing. They just left and gave the man an entire head start, an entire weekend to get to Toronto, get on an international flight, and end up in Italy. In fact, Houston police did not even know the man was out of the country until Italy said, "Hey, Uncle Sam, we got your boy over here. Yeah, the one y'all are like supposed to have on trial this week. He's here with us in our jail." And Houston police said, "Oh, no, he's not. We just went to his house on Friday." Yeah, well, you gave him plenty of time to make a getaway. So same Houston police come over and they look around the property and they asked the dad, I'm talking about Krista's dad. They asked him, "You didn't put the sign in there?" And Chris's father said, "Of course not. I didn't put the sign in there." So they did knock on the door. They communicated with someone that was in the home. The person refused to come out, and they said that they could prove in court that they are the rightful owner of the home. And the Houston Chronicle went online and verified the records, that the record still shows the house belonging to Lee and Krista Gilley. And so they ended their article with, Lee may be able to straighten out the situation himself, as he is in the process of returning home to the U.S. after officials in Texas sent paperwork to Italy asking to begin the extradition process. His trial was set to begin in May. It's now been pushed back, and he will face additional charges since he ran away and broke his bail. I did not see, hold on just a minute. I didn't see where there had been anything new that has taken place in Italy with Lee Gilley. Probably in the past, I think it's been a week since I last checked, maybe a little over a week. I didn't see where there was anything new. There's still, he still wants claiming asylum, and they're still waiting to do the immigration hearing. They did one hearing, but it was about something else. They're still waiting on the actual like immigration extradition hearing, is where conceivably he will declare that Texas is going to give him the death penalty, and that is going to trigger special protections in Italy, because they will not extradite if somebody is in danger of dying, right? But his own attorney has come on the Houston television and said, nobody made any move to say that this would be a death penalty case. No, the state, the prosecutors, they have not filed the necessary paperwork to bring the death penalty on board. And so they don't know why he's telling them that Texas may try to kill him. So I thought that was incredibly interesting. So let me see if we got any new, middle of June. Okay, so let me just give you the basic facts. The extradition request was made to the Italian authorities on June the 17th. That was within the required 45-day window from early May. So they took him into custody in May. Texas had 45 days to request extradition. They accomplished that. Italian officials are reviewing it under the U.S.-Italy extradition treaty. Italy does not extradite individuals facing death penalty, though the U.S. has made no, or Texas has made no move at all. He technically, from a legal perspective, he is not facing the death penalty. He's not under threat to be put to death. So maybe that's just something he's trying to use, but from Italy's point of view, they're going to look at this and they're going to go, we don't have any evidence here that they're even seeking the death penalty for this guy. So why is he telling us that he's in danger of death? So if Italy says no, there's no documentation, there's no paperwork filed, even the suggestion of seeking the death penalty, he's got to go back to Texas. We're not going to protect him. They don't have, Italy doesn't have at its fingertips the slightest ability to manage this case. It didn't happen in their jurisdiction. They don't have an ounce of collected evidence. They literally have no dog in this fight. None. And since there is nothing filed saying we're seeking the death penalty, it is just like, I think my opinion is Italy doesn't want to touch this. They don't want to be involved at all with this. And they're just going to say, hey, this guy belongs to Uncle Sam. Send him back to Texas. This is not our circus. This is not our monkey. No, don't want it. The Harris County judge that was overseeing all of this circus, as soon as it came to light that Lee Gilley had left the country, he put a gag order on the case. That's kind of interesting, right? He put a gag order on the case. And so now people can't really find out exactly what's happening in the investigation. How the hell did he get a Belgian passport that was good enough to get through U.S. immigration and onto an international flight in Canada? So we're not getting any of that because of the gag order by the judge who made it possible for this uber wealthy man to skip town. The judge did it. Judge also happens to be a good buddy with George W. Bush. As of June the 19th, the police have said there is a squatter occupying the couple's Houston home on Alston Street. A Missouri-based LLC filed a warranty deed and an affidavit of the adverse possession claiming ownership on May the 8th. It was filed on May the 21st. Oh, shit. This is the squatter. It's a company called Save a Life Houses LLC out of Missouri. What? Okay, let me think a minute. If he was behind on taxes, if there is like a community, like a property, like a neighborhood organization, if he's behind on his dues, they could go after his mortgage, or not his mortgage, but his deed. So was he behind? Maybe he didn't pay his taxes, and this company swooped in under the net and essentially stole the house. These zombie deeds were a big deal back about 8 years ago, 8 years ago, when everybody was in foreclosure. But in Texas, you can do it. They can steal your house if you don't pay your taxes, because they're going to put your house up for sale in order to collect the money to pay the taxes. So is that what happened? Is that how they came in? Or is this Missouri-based LLC, maybe they made a deal with Lee Gilley May the 8th. It was signed May the 8th, filed May the 21st, May the 8th. Maybe they were somehow involved in him getting out of the country. Weird. Okay, I got to go because I have a 9:00 appointment. I told y'all this was weird. Now we have something more. Yes, getting known it. Check the Beacon tax records. somehow this company came in, took the house at the same time that Lee Gilley left the country. We didn't know, I don't think, on May the 8th that he had absconded. So they could do that if the house went up for sale for back taxes, right? Or if it was a cash deal, but no, it can't be a cash deal, or the deed, the registered deed would reflect the new owner. I bet you it's going to turn out that it's a zombie property. All right, I gotta go. I'm gonna be late for my meeting. Bye.